Hi, this is Marlon with another tutorial on using the Allen Heath Q24 digital mixing board. Today I want to talk about using mixes. If we look at our board here, I've reloaded the basic chapel setup. I have my left and right master thing here, and then we have the series of 10 mixes. Now think of mixes, if you will, like auxiliaries. They're very similar. Allen Heath chose to call them mixes. And so what that means is we have 10 separate outputs on the back of this board, and at the front of the stage on the digital snake, another 10 outputs, which means we can make special adjustments to these mixes, if you will, and then send them specifically out on that channel, and the people on the other end will hear something different. So left and right is what the house speakers are hearing, or your audience's speakers. But for those musicians on stage, maybe they need to hear something different. And so maybe they're using in-ear monitors or stage monitors, and they're going to want to hear something different than everybody else is. For example, if in our setup here we have 4 vocalists, the vocalists usually need to hear themselves very clearly, and they need to hear each other very clearly, but they always don't need to hear maybe the bass player. Maybe they don't need to hear the drums. Maybe they mainly need to hear the guitar and the piano. So we can set up a mix for the individuals that are singing so that they hear only their voices, and so that they hear some guitar and some piano, but maybe the other stuff's not as important. And exactly the opposite could happen for another mix. For example, maybe on mix 2, we have our monitors set up for the musicians, and the musicians need to hear themselves. They need to hear the piano, the drummer and the bass player. They need to lock together, and the guitar player needs to hear himself. But they don't need to hear all the vocalists. Maybe they're just instrumentalists and they don't need to sing. And so they only really need to hear the main vocalists. And so they'll send that mix of one strong vocalist and instruments to mix 2. And they're sent on different channels, and they're sent to different speakers depending on who needs to hear that. So mixes are a great way to, again, use as monitors. We can also use them in recording. That's why we have some stereo pairs, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. In one situation that I can imagine is, for example, we have an acoustic set here. And for example, we have a piano player, and the piano player just loves to play hard. We open the lid. There's enough volume coming into the room that we don't need to mic the piano so that everybody can hear it. But maybe we're going to stream that audio, or we're going to record it, and there's no microphone to capture that, so it goes to the recording. So what we could do is microphone everything that needs to be recorded, but we don't send it out the main mix. We send it out maybe mix 5 or 6 or 7 and 8, because that's going directly to our recorder, maybe our video camera, so that they can have the full sound of what's coming out of the mixer being captured on video, which is much better than not having it. So that's one scenario that we could do that. But let's talk about setting up some mixes today. I'm going to use a stereo pair 5 and 6. For this, I've disconnected the back of the board. So what you're going to hear now is I've connected my input from 5 and 6 going into my little mixer here on the side. So again, no matter if I crank left and right, you're not going to hear what's coming out left and right, because I have mix 5 and 6 connected to my mixer so that you can capture there. So let's set up mix 5 and 6. We're going to make sure we have my 5 and 6 connected. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the volume. I'm going to unmute it. And now we need to send some signals to that. Okay, so let's go to stereo 3, which is our music playing. You'll notice I have a signal, but you'll also notice that you're not hearing anything. So let's bring up the fader. Again, so you're hearing the music that's coming from there. Very important. Again, now I'm going to add another mic. Let's add our microphone here. And let's go to channel 24. I'm going to select it. And now I'm going to turn off my lav mic, and what you're going to hear is this. 1, 2. Here I come. I'm back in the mix now. Wonderful, right? Wonderful. So that's what you could do. Let's say I'm a singer. I need to hear more of myself and less music. Let's go. Again, we're in mix 5, 6. I'm going to hit it. Just bring it down. And that's what's coming out of there. So those are mix settings. Again, you can have multiple ones. Mix 1, for example, if mix 1 is going for our instruments. Let's do, we need all these guys to be up for the singers. And maybe they need to hear a little bit of our musicians, but maybe on mix 2, the musicians are hearing that mix and they want to hear more of their instruments and just maybe the lead vocalists and some of that. Mix 3, let's say it's our, well, let's go to mix, let's say mix 5 and 6 is what we're going to send to our recorder. So in that one, boy, we want everything just to sound great. We want everything like we're sitting in the house and everything is going there. So again, that's one way you can quickly look at what mixes are being sent there. And then left and right is what's being sent to the house. Okay. I'm going to go back to mix 5 and 6. And I'm just going to bring it down the volume there. Okay. So that is setting up. That is quickly just setting up mixes. Again, they're very useful again for our monitor sends. Very useful for connecting to recording devices.